Everyone wants to take their business, their skills, to the next level. Small and mid-sized business owners have exceptional insight into how to do this. They endure and thrive because they find ways to overcome the challenges that come their way, and they can teach us valuable lessons to apply to our own companies and lives. Steven Neuner, founder and owner of Alkali, a company with a unique process that helps businesses more effectively buy and manage their insurance programs. And Bob Gibbons, builder of Riata Commercial Realty, a real estate advisor and tenant advocate, are two prominent Metroplex businessmen who, along with their weekly guests, will ask their and your probing questions, finding impactful solutions that will help you reach for the next level. Here are your hosts, Steven Neuner and Bob Gibbons.
Welcome, everyone, to The Next Level, Conversations that Propel Business. I'm your host, Steven Neuner.
And I'm Bob Gibbons, and you're here for our one-year anniversary show. Cannot believe it's been a year. We've been sitting in these seats and talking to people.
Yay!
In fact, if anybody's watching this on our video, you're going to see something a little different, but let's first of all, we don't have a guest today. It's just me and Steven talking, so it's going to be a little different show. But,
yeah, some things never change, though, like Bob forgets to turn off his cell phone in the middle of the...
Well, I'm supposed to turn it to no sound, and it somehow didn't happen.
Maybe it's something we can take to the next level for the next year.
That's a goal.
Yes.
No more screw-ups on Bob's part. So we always start off with wisdom of others, and you brought a quote today, so let's still do that.
All right. Well, so the quote today is from Pastor Ed Young, and he had the quote. The quote is, "Make your rear view mirror smaller than your windshield."
Rear view mirror smaller than your windshield.
Mm-hmm.
And what does that mean to you?
To me, it means that your past is important. It's not that you want to forget it. You just want to be able to learn from it and move on. You want to have a bigger future and not be controlled by what your past was.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's good advice, because I know so many people are allow their past to define them.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like our beliefs determine what we think we can or cannot do. And either way, we're going to be right. Whether you can or you can't, whether you believe you can or can't, it's going to be true. And so I know that a lot of people, whether it's personal or business or whatever, their beliefs decide that. And so if you're constantly looking at that rearview mirror, regardless of how big it is,
mm-hmm.
you're never going to go forward in the right direction.
And, truthfully, where do I find myself getting the most energy in life? It's when I'm spending time with people that have bigger windshields.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really, when you look at the performance of people, is it because they are innately more talented in some way than somebody else, or is it because they aren't limiting the size of what they're looking at?
I don't know. That's getting pretty deep for me, Bob, for
Is
a
that
1
too
year.
deep for you?
Yeah.
Well, I believe that's true, because, I think there's a lot of people that just don't think about, in fact, that's, we've talked about it in here before, the A students work for the C students,
mm-hmm.
and a lot of that's because the C students don't know it can't be done. So they're like, hey, let's go do this. And then when it starts happening, they hire the A students, come in and, sort of clean up and make it happen.
I think, for me, I think it's all about mindset. I just think when you have a big windshield type mentality, you're going to just see as inevitably everything's a learning experience, instead of it attaching yourself to failure or success. Instead of it meaning something going wrong, meaning you're a failure, it means that you are just learning. Or as we tell our kids all the time, you're just a Yeti.
A Yeti.
You haven't learned to do it yet. You're a Yeti.
Oh, I got you. I like them. My wife likes the Yeti, and I was fearing that there was something else to buy from those people. All right. So if you're watching this, listeners, on the video, you'll notice that we have these balloons here and a giant number 1 for the first anniversary. And Steven's office.
I thought it was because we were number 1.
Oh, I guess
KAAM.
Your windshield must be bigger than mine. So Steven's office called me up. Fern Knable, his assistant, Jessica Knable in his office, Corey Neuner, his wife, who also works with him, called me up and said, stop by the office and pick something up on the way to the studio. So I picked up these balloons. They said it has to be in the shot. So they're in the shot. I hope you can see them.
For the moment.
But then they also gave us these boxes, which are wrapped with these beautiful green ribbons and bows.
And I'm terrified.
And they said we had to open these on air. So yeah, I'm nervous, because I asked them what it was and they wouldn't tell me. And I said, should we be thanking you or not? And they wouldn't tell me. So Let's see what it is. Oh.
Uh-oh.
So we've got these, what are these?
These are awesome.
Picture frames with the Next Level logo, established August 2015. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much.
That's cool. That'll be in the shot at the end of the show as well. So
we wouldn't be able to be here without all those people's support and Jan's as well.
Amen.
So thank
Amen
you
to
guys.
that. Thank you very much. Unexpected. All right. So what are we going to talk about today? I don't even know.
Well, we were brainstorming what is this show about? It's about bigger windshields, smaller rear view mirrors, and how do we take things to the next level? And so I thought it would be fun for us to do. There's a tool from Strategic Coach, a coaching program he used to be in, and Corey's currently in, called the Experience Transformer. It's where you look at things like what's worked over the last year, what's not worked, and how do you want to do things better. So I thought we'd be very, very transparent like we encourage all of our guests to be.
Crap, so we're going to have to start living what we preach.
It's funner just to make fun of people for you, Bob, huh? Yeah.
All right, good. Then let's start with you.
All right.
All right, so what is the experience? So the Experience Transformer has what? Four components or three components?
Yes.
So tell us what the components are first, and then.
So just what's the experience you'd like to learn and improve from? And I just say, looking over the last year, we're having a year anniversary, milestone, and that's Next Level's impacted a lot of areas of our lives. And then what has worked, what hasn't worked, and what we'd like to do different if we had to do it over again. And then again, what do we want to do about it?
Okay, so
what are we going to do about it?
We're going to talk about your personal life, your business life, and the show.
The full kimono, Bob.
Crap, we're not getting back to that Miyagi Karate Kid crap again, are we? That's one of my goals. I will on an ongoing goal of never watching that show. All right.
I was hoping.
So let's go ahead and give it a shot then. So what's the first category you want to talk about?
So for me, it started with what's worked, because I think the premise of this is that it's easier to look at what hasn't worked when you acknowledge the progress you have made. And so for me in Alkali, I'm really excited because I really believe that our team is stronger than it has ever been. We've just gotten a lot better and at identifying the right culture fits and the right skill sets. And I've never been more excited about our team. The next thing is our clients have really been blessing us. They're moving our message. We're having more referrals than we've ever had. Almost all of our business comes from client referrals and introductions. And we are ahead of our growth goals for the year. And that is largely attributed to, our clients spreading our message, spreading the word. So those are just, a few things. A couple others is some new capabilities we have coming online that I'm very excited about, both in team members that we've hired, where we've been sort of excellent at it, but not excited about the people who have been doing some of the work, have not been excited about the work. Now we've just recently hired a couple of people that are excited and excellent. So I know that will cause things to go, pun intended, the next level.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting you say that, because on that one particular point, I worked with another company several years ago, and we had each, I'm in commercial real estate, so we were managing office buildings. And so we had one person that was doing both the property management of those buildings as well as the leasing of those buildings. And those are two different skills. One's more of a sales kind of skill, one's in negotiation, the other one's more of a operations and management of what's already there. And what we found was people didn't like doing both. And it was hard for them to sort of put a foot in both those worlds. And so eventually, after about 3 years, we split that. And so we had a property management division and a leasing division. And it was amazing because we kept all of our people, and we just said, which one do you want to be in? And I was always surprised when somebody said, I want to be in that or the other. I wasn't able to always predict what they liked best.
Yeah.
But it always was consistent with their skill set and what they liked. And so that was a cool thing. So
yeah,
that should work well.
Yeah, I mean, I believe in it. I think that it's, call it unique ability. And internally at Alkali, we say it's unique ability. It's superior skill plus passion, right? We think God wires some of us up. Doesn't mean any of us are better than the others, but we're all wired up differently, and we all enjoy and have drive to get better and better at different things. And so I think things are going to go to another level because of that. And then the really big what's working for me is the show. Is the show for me? I've always had a lot of hobbies, but I've always been somewhat frustrated because I never found that thing. I have friends that play on 5 soccer teams, or they're so passionate about the Cowboys, and I've always just kind of felt lukewarm. Like, I enjoy going out and play golf, but I'm not passionate about it. I enjoy, watching a game, but I'm not going to lose sleep if I miss it. This is the first thing that, as crazy as it sounds, I mean, really at this point, it's a hobby for me and you.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I literally look forward to it every week. I get excited, and it is so much fun. And most people probably think I'm a super nerd because this is fun for me, but I could not think of anything else I'd rather be doing.
Yeah, I mean, in the 5 days of the work week, this is the days that we record are definitely the days I look forward to the most. I like everything else I do too, but
Sure.
If I could do this 5 days a week, and particularly if somebody would consider paying me for it, I can see me doing this for a living. It would be
Paid
it'd
hobby,
be great.
yeah, it'd be great.
Paid hobby, yeah. But I mean, you're right. I mean, I've talked about doing a radio show for probably 10 years or more, and I've been on the radio as a guest not many times, a few times, and really enjoyed it. But hosting was something that I always wanted to do, and so this has been fun. So on my list of what's working is the fact that we started the show. I mean, and that by itself. Now, have we perfected it? I think our listeners and viewers would clearly tell us no.
Big windshield.
Yeah, keep that rearview mirror out of sight. And but it's working from the perspective of we're doing it. We started, and we've been able to fill. I mean, we've done 40-something guests, so far.
Yeah.
And so it's been a lot of fun. And so I think that's working. We'll talk about where what's not working and what we are going to do about it later. But I agree.
What else? I mean, is
So
working
on my
for
what's
you?
working list?
Yeah.
Well, one thing that's I would say is on the business side of what's working, and this is sort of business/personal, is working with my wife. That's
pretty awesome.
I know that you and Corey have worked together for many years. My wife and I started working together full time again last September, and she had worked with me full time once before. She'd been involved in the company from the beginning, but truly making this sort of the permanent plan for the future. We just started that in September, and that's really working out well. I'm really enjoying it. I was nervous about it, but I'm really glad that's working well. The other thing that's working well is saying no.
Saying no.
And saying no for me means saying no to things that I shouldn't be doing or that don't fit in the lane I need to be driving in.
That is why you stopped taking my phone calls.
Exactly. I was hoping you weren't going to notice, put those two together. But I think it's really crucial that we know what we are and what we ought to be, what we want to be, and have our actions be consistent with that. And mine have not always been, because I've accepted clients I had no business accepting, not because I wasn't capable, but because it just wasn't the right fit,
Right.
or it distracted me from what I really should have been doing, wanted to do. So saying no, I've gotten a lot better at that. And having my wife working with me has done a lot, because she's there to smack me whenever I make the mistake. And then from a personal standpoint, the thing that's really working is travel. I'm really, my wife and I are empty nesters now, and so we're doing a lot of traveling, and that's been fun. We've been to a bunch of places this year and plan to do a lot more. So
It's been fun watching.
yeah, it is. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll try to dissect what's not working, and more importantly, what we're going to do about it.
Stick around.
And now, Confessions of a Recovering Landlord.
This is Bob Gibbons with Riata Commercial Realty, and I am your recovering landlord. After 20 years as a landlord, I now use that experience only for the benefit of companies that lease or buy office buildings and warehouses. Today's confession: knowledge is power. We all negotiate from a position of power and strength, or at least we want to. In any negotiation, the party with the most knowledge probably has the upper hand, and landlords count on this being the case whenever you're negotiating a lease, because most landlords are professional real estate investors, and they hire professional leasing agents and property managers. Landlords are in the market every day negotiating leases, while tenants probably only negotiate 1, maybe 2 leases every few years. So tenants feel outgunned. Don't let landlords have all the power. As a former landlord for 20 years, I understand how landlords think and what motivates them. So let me put that knowledge and experience to work on your side of the negotiation. To learn more, contact me at texastenantrep.com. Again, that's texastenantrep.com. alkaliservices.com.
Have you started making plans to take your business to the next level in 2016? Hi, I'm Steven Neuner, founder and CEO of Alkali. We have a trademark process called the Empowered Advantage that enables CEOs, business owners, and entrepreneurs to more effectively buy and manage their insurance. Before sitting down to make your plans for the new year, here are just a few things to consider. Would you say that you have an actual insurance strategy, one that you can articulate, or have you just purchased a policy here and there over the years? If you have an insurance strategy, was it discussed under the pressure of a renewal deadline or considered earlier in the year to avoid fire drill decision making? If your answer was no to either of these questions, then you may not have the right partner on your team. Visit alkaliservices.com to contact us and take the next step to a bigger and better future.
Hey everybody, this is Aaron with Modern Lux Salon, owner and CEO. We specialize in high-end hair salons that can really help you find that amazing look for you. Bob, Steve, I hope to see you sometime soon. Not sure we can help you, but always love to have you. Thanks.
Welcome back to The Next Level, conversations that propel business with Bob and Steve.
On a 1-year anniversary show.
And we're halfway through that show, so hang in there with us. We're talking about the experienced transformer from the strategic coach. Steven's been a longtime strategic ghost.
Strategic ghost. And goat and other things.
Corey's in it right now, so we're borrowing from them as to the format of this. So we've talked about sort of what's working in our business and the show personally. Let's now talk about what's not working in those categories. So, Steven, why don't you start us off on that?
Oh, great. Let's start. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you screw it up or it goes way too long, then I won't have to.
What's not working? Yeah. My co-host. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, my friend. I'm just kidding. Well, you asked me to go first, so.
Yes.
I mean, one, big challenge we had this year is we've implemented leadership, and we've installed a leadership team, and one big passion of Corey's and mine is we want 80% of all of our leaders to come from within. And so we went into, we put in the leadership team last year, and this was our first year where we kind of went into the end of the year and went into our planning session all together and felt really great about our team and came out with a lot of momentum, energy, and excitement. And sadly, we had one of our team members step out of leadership. They're still with us due to some personal and health-related issues. Mm-hmm. And so we're glad they're still part of the team, but we have an empty spot there that we're still not sure who or how that'll fulfill. And the whole team has stepped up because they're all leaders. But there's still, who's going to be that person. And then the other thing, go ahead.
But that may be something that'll pay back in the long run for you, because I mean, to take somebody who moved into a leadership position and allow them to go back to not being in a leadership position, most companies won't do that. And I've very rarely seen somebody allow that, and I think it's really good because all the other employees see that, and it really speaks to what you and Corey have in terms of culture and they're team members. And if you promote somebody and it doesn't work out for whatever reason, they're not a bad person. But, why not let them still go back to where they were successful until something changes?
And this person's a rock star, and they're part of the family. And, all things happen in life, and that's kind of what we're here for, so is to help each other through it. The other thing is honestly just installing leadership and learning to trust, verify, let go. It's been a challenge because Corey and I we literally started from the guest bedroom of our house. It is hard for us, even with super capable, talented, competent people that are fully trustworthy. It's hard sometimes to let go and just step back and let people do their thing. And honestly, a lot of times that when we do it, they do take things to the next level. But I don't know why. It's a challenging thing that we've been struggling with. Hopefully they feel like we've been improving, and I don't know if it's an overnight switch it'll get flipped, but slowly we've been kind of bumping along with it. And just things, there'll be little breakdowns or challenges with it because there'll be assumptions that someone's handling something and someone's handling something else, and you'll just have communication breakdown. Nothing that's really impacted clients, but just it creates a little bit extra frustration, and I think it's just something we have to go through.
Yeah, and I'll jump in and say
Yeah.
that's a problem I've had too, because like I said, Jan has started working with me in September, and that's been hard for me to let go of certain things, because I'm so used to doing them.
Yeah.
They've been rocking along doing them the way I wanted to do them for 12 years. So now she's coming in and has a different idea sometimes, or doesn't know what my intent is. And when I keep it bottled up in my head instead of sharing it, it creates conflict. But, and she's got a lot of great ideas that are better than the ones I had.
Yeah.
But I've got to be,
I know, Jan, I believe that.
I've got to be a little more humble, I guess, maybe,
Yeah.
and patient to not assume that it's needs to be done the way I've thought it need to be done, or the way I've always done it. That there is a different way, and it probably is a better way. So I just need to slow down and really think about it from that perspective.
It's hard. I mean, like I said, hopefully we're making progress. I know you, and I believe that you will and are. But I don't know. I mean, and then I'll meet people that just naturally get it. But I think for us, it's a little bit, it becomes your baby, and it's just, there is some emotion wrapped up in it. We really, really care. Corey and I, our business for us is somewhat almost missional. I mean, it's part of our identity and purpose, and we want to do it a certain way and serve a certain way. And, it's hard to translate all that into someone else.
Well, and I feel for the other people, whether it's Jan or other employees on your side, that they want to come in and they want to be contributing, and making a difference and improving what they stepped into, not just sticking with the way it's always been done. And yet on my side, sometimes I'm thinking, well, what gives you the right to walk in here and change it? This has worked great for however long.
Why are you moving my cheese?
Exactly.
I got to know what I need.
That cheese was moldy just the way I wanted it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, so that's a big thing, and we'll talk about what we plan to do about it. But
we better keep doing that.
Keep moving.
So what else is on your not working list?
Not working. I've always overall, and this is just an area I'm in the gap on. I wouldn't say I'm doing bad, but I know I want to acknowledge that I could be doing better, and I have done better in the past. I've always been someone that's very, very, very regimented with my workouts. I just follow certain types of rituals. I'm very structured when it comes to having date nights. I do date nights with my kids. I just try to make sure I have that focus time, and I'm really good about getting on my calendar so that it happens even when life gets a little crazy. And I honestly haven't been doing as good of a job with it. Like I said, I wouldn't say I'm doing a bad job, but I just know that I'm not firing on all the cylinders. I've been missing more workouts to do more work, but in the end, I'm not sure that I'm really getting more done. And then my date nights have been less consistent, stuff like that. And that's really important to me. And it's something that, again, we'll talk about, but I do plan on doing a little bit differently.
Okay.
The last one for me is something related to the show.
Okay.
I would really, scheduling. I've been really surprised at how much of the show is getting people scheduled and coordinated.
Yes.
And that's even with help, fantastic help with Fern and, in working as a team, you and me and Jan, everyone working together to get that done. But I'm surprised at how much of the show is that, and not even just having the show recorded.
Yeah, and I would say that on the show, the what's not working, the scheduling is a bigger issue than I had thought it was going to be, but also just the amount of time it takes to do the whole show. I mean, the show is a 30-minute show, but I look at how many hours a week it's taking to coordinate it, invite the guests, find the guests, get them prepared,
make sure,
be here from the time I leave my office to the time I get back to my office on days we're recording is about 4 hours.
Yeah.
For a 30-minute show. Now, we take the guests to lunch afterwards. We talk about how we're going to market the show for them and all that kind of stuff, their appearance. But yeah, it's taken a lot more time than I would have expected. I don't regret it.
No.
I'm not upset about that, but I do think that that's something that we've got to figure out how to streamline better.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the other things that were on my what's not working list.
Yeah, what?
One thing I put on there was my CRM. I've been using ACT for a long time. It's not working well. We've evaluated another one, and Nutshell. We're looking at that, and we actually have got a subscription to it. But just the transition of the data from one to the other is a major pain in the butt.
Okay.
And if we'd have just exported everything from one to the other, it would have been no big deal. But we're trying to not put bad information into the new one.
Right.
So that means you got to scrub every single contact that we had in the old one. And we've been at this now for months, and I still am not anywhere close to being finished with that. So outsource it. Well, but the problem is I can't outsource it because the person that I outsource it to doesn't know who is or is not a good contact to put into the new one.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to outsource that one.
Yeah.
If you have any ideas on that, I'd love to know about it. The other thing is, and this one came to me real recently. As you know, we have this proprietary system we call the Riata Lease Track, and most brokers, do a deal and cash their check, and the tenant never sees them again, never hears from them again until it's time for another, revenue event.
I love the lease track.
So the lease track is our way to try and provide ongoing value and service to the client after the deal closes. Because having been a landlord for 20 years, I know how landlords manage buildings and manage leases after they get signed. Not always consistent with what the lease says. So anyway, we manage that, but I have done a really poor job, I realized, in communicating the value of that system to new prospects who haven't been with us all along. And I had this epiphany earlier this week, in fact, when I had a meeting with a guy, and I had already described it to him, sent him an email, and offered it to him, and he didn't immediately jump on it. And so when we went to lunch, I pulled out my little flyer and started describing it again, and he started saying, "Oh, you mean it's not something that I've got to do?" He thought he had to go in and input all the data into this software system and all this stuff. Like, no. Just give me your lease. I'll do it. So I have to figure out a better way to communicate that. And so thanks to you, Steven, you introduced me to the Draw Shop, thedrawshop.com, which does a video. And so we've now engaged them to come up with a better way to communicate that process.
So that's a good way to segue. What are you going to do about some of these things?
Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Ones you wanted?
No, that's really all.
Okay. So Draw Shop.
Draw Shop, yeah.
Great way. Animated whiteboard video for those of you who aren't familiar with them. We've used, it's a good way to explain your process and how you deliver value, and I think it'll be fantastic for you. I'm excited to see the outcome. What else?
The other things, what I'm doing about it, the letting go is, we're just trying to be more diligent about respective responsibilities and authority, because, those two need to go together. CRM, I don't have a good answer for you there. I haven't figured out the fix other than just sit down and do it. It's kind of like my book. I've been working my book for years, and it's very close to being done, but I just got to, sometimes that last step is the hardest one to get over. Yeah. So what about your fixes?
So in quick kind of succession, I'm seeking out a mentor that operates a larger scale B2B sales operation. Help me identify more consultants to help free up some of my time. That way I have more time for my family and my hobbies and things that I love. Also, we are going to, I'm doing some research, and I think we're going to be implementing the Traction system, entrepreneurial operating system.
Okay. EOS.
From Jeff Whittle was on the show talking about that. I'm a slow learner, but I'm finally kind of identifying that might be something that help us streamline that leadership and get the team all swimming in the same direction.
Okay.
And then just making sure that we just are more disciplined. I'm more disciplined with my time, and just stepping away from the business a little bit more consistently to make sure that I refocus on what we're doing. And in regards to the show, we're gonna, Bob, you may not know this, but we're implementing a technology, a scheduling technology that'll allow us to send a link to our guests once we've vetted them and we know that they're going to be a good guest, and say, pick the date that's going to work for you. Yeah. Instead of here are 3 dates, and then we can't give up those dates until we give them to someone else. So.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we obviously have more issues that we need to talk about as far as how we're going to fix all of our problems, get to the next level. But that's all the time we have for this week. But we really appreciate you, the listeners, hanging with us for this year, and we're really looking forward to the next year and beyond. So if you have any good ideas, please connect with us. Go to thenextlevelshow.com or find us on social media.
Thanks. Have a great week.
Talk to you next week.
You have been listening to The Next Level, Conversations That Propel Business with Steven Neuner and Bob Gibbons. Join us every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. for more prolific conversations that will take your business to the next level.